From Ki11ng Eve to Game of Thrones, why we all love a rehabilitated villain. This article contains spoilers for Season 2 of Killing Eve. Editors note the opinions in this article are the author's, as published by our content partner, and do not represent the views of MSN or Microsoft. Before the second series of Killing Eve began, if you had let your mind wander freely as Villanelle in a foreign city, potential plot twists would have sprung to mind thick and fast. They could have involved Video Killing Eve Season 2, official trailer The Independent. To team up these intensely opposing forces in an effort to investigate the ghost and goings-on of the nefarious data owner Aaron Peel was a bold step, especially this early on. Yet the plot device, The Walking Dead, which has employed every plot device possible somewhere along its 5 million seasons, is a textbook example of how the story often goes. A batty-remembered gallery BBC's 100 Best Movies of the 21st Century Photo Services. Or how about Jaime Lannister's temporary transition to the Allied forces in Game of Thrones, uniting with practically all the enemies of House Lannister to defeat their common enemy and so very nearly remaining the good guy we felt he could be all along, before returning to his true self beholden to his sister-in-law, Cersei. The reason it works so well in every case is that it's a relief to see even a glimmer of a redemptive side to a baddie. It speaks to the more. In Killing Eve, flipping the switch allows a hefty bit of character development on both sides. Rather than treading, and that's the thing, it's a delicious twist, and stylishly highlights that Eve and Villanelle aren't as different as Eve imagines, but it's tricky to execute without seeming jarring. It's certainly pop, and just as it's hard to lead to, it's difficult to come back from. If the title, MSN are empowering women in sport this summer. Find out more about
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park.